Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad that you found me here today. And this video is about our spiritual gifts and kind of about maybe getting to know your own spiritual gifts. And a lot of times the way that I like to talk about these things are through my own personal experiences. So it's not because I think I'm really important, but because I feel like sometimes stories help people to relate in a different way. So I'm going to share, I guess, a little bit of my own experience with my gifts and the way that I've gotten to know them. And who knows what else will come out here. So, one of the things about this is that I have started this YouTube channel because it's something that I have felt very spiritually led to do. I, have been having dreams about it and, feeling this pressure, to do this, to create this channel, to make these videos. And it's not especially something that I've wanted to do. And so, I don't, plan out what I'm gonna say in my videos. I just kind of when I feel the inspiration, or when information is being channeled through me, I'm just trying to capture that. And so that's kind of what's happening here. So today's video, though, the topic is about our spiritual gifts. And obviously, like I just said, that is one of my spiritual gifts. I want to back up a little bit. So I guess what I mean by that, I believe that all of us are we're all spiritually connected to a creator, right? So that's what I imagine. It's like we're connected to a creator. There's the creator, or a higher power, you can call that whatever you want. You can call it God, you can call it the universe. I think that in our here on earth, that we've taken words and we apply meaning to them through our own experiences, and it can be really hard sometimes to sift through a message that we get because of words. And so I don't want using the word God to make it hard for someone to hear this message. So it can be God, the universe, whatever you see as that higher power. So I believe that we're all connected to this higher power, and that we're a vessel through which that higher power is expressing itself, experiencing itself. And we have come to earth and we've forgotten that we are, in essence, we are a part of God. And it's really interesting to me. I contemplate a lot why that is. Why have we come to earth and forgotten that we're a part of God? And there are a lot of people who have a lot of beliefs on that. We're not going to talk about that today. However, I believe that we're all connected to this creator. And that each of us has a specific kind of gift that we're here to share with the world. To me, it's I've really awakened to the fact that I have a purpose on the earth here today. I believe that all of us have a purpose, and that the gifts that I have are a part of that purpose. And I believe that we all have these spiritual gifts. They're all inside of us, right? Because we're all divine beings. We're all connected to this creator. It's just that we come here and we forget, and all of the things in the world and the pressures and the trauma and the things that that we're taught, the constructs put on us, it separates us from that part of ourselves and from the creator and from that universal flow of energy, which is sort of one of the other ways that I like to describe it. So we all have these gifts. It's just that we shut ourselves off to them. And I don't know what the purpose is for, right? It has become really apparent to me that I have these really special gifts that I have run from my whole life. I've denied them. Other people have denied them. And it's been a really interesting journey for me to come to the place of getting to know my gifts. And I guess I'll share just a little bit about that process for me. So, when I was a kid, I was very open spiritually. And when I look back, I can remember actually having information channeled to me or through me in the same way as like what is happening to me now. And I remember being a little kid and having all this information that I felt like so many people around me didn't understand or didn't get. It was like when I look back now, it was a lot, I guess, for a child, right? And so also at that same time, I was experiencing a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, terrible things that were happening in my life, and I closed myself off. But I definitely remember, like, in my childhood, the channeling and how I would feel this excitement, and it was like just the truth was like running through me. And and then also I had, gifts of like healing people. I had gifts of just knowing. I just knew how people felt, or like, what people's issues were, or like what it was that was going on with them. I just knew those things. And I recognized, like, through my life, how as I moved through my life, people were drawn to me in a way that was like, people were drawn to just telling me their problems. People were drawn to sharing that hurt with me. And so fast forward, so like I spent a lot of years running from it, denying it, doing terrible things with it, all that stuff. Fast forward, I've shared some of my experience. You can go back to look at my first video on this channel, which is called Introducing Me. I will try to remember to link it when I upload this video. But I've shared kind of about some things that happened to me several years ago that just like cracked me open. And in 2012, and I suddenly started to wake up again. And my gifts had still been there, but I had been shoving them away and denying them, and I was afraid of them, and they scared me, and they made me uncomfortable, and they made people think I was weird, and just like on and on. And so I was denying them, and it came to a point where I couldn't anymore. And so over the last 8 years, it's been this slow unfolding of learning about my gifts and what they mean. And there was a point where I was doing Reiki, and I would see these like spirits would come, and they would be in the room with me, and they were always just like grotesque looking, or evil, and they always carried this vibration with them that I was scared of. And also, I want to say that is something that's happened to me my whole life. I had what I thought were night terrors, and my ex-husband would get extremely angry because I would be screaming in the middle of the night because spirits would come to me, and they were terrifying. And so I had been doing Reiki, and that was happening more and more. And I didn't really understand what was going on, and I was scared of it. And I talked to a couple people about it, about how afraid I was. And I kept trying to just shut it down. Well, over time, I've really actually discovered that those spirits that come to me are usually people who have harmed someone. And so one of the things that happens to me, I just got like chills. One of the things that happens to me is that, like, when I work on someone energetically, I see the face of their trauma. I see like maybe the person who inflicted that trauma. And it used to be really unsettling to me, because I would be like, oh my gosh, it's something like really dangerous, like stay away from me, because I'd had experiences in, you know, when I was a teenager, of like opening up to things that were dark, and I was afraid that that's what that was. But it's not. It turns out that it's actually part of the way that I help people. And it's not necessarily that like that spirit is coming to me and being malicious or something. It's just that I'm seeing what has been inflicted onto someone, and like where that comes from in the person who hurt them, if that makes sense. And so as I've gotten to know that, I've become less afraid, you know, like I think it's really important that we get to know our spiritual gifts, because in my case, how I become less afraid of it, because I understand now what's happening when a spirit comes to me and it looks really scary. I understand what's happening. So the other thing that I think is really important is to be able to tap into your experience with an open mind, because we try to understand things with our thinking mind, right? With our human mind, which is like trying to analyze things and make sense of them. But I feel like my experience has been that the more that I try to analyze what I'm seeing, the less that I'm actually grasping what I'm seeing. So, you know, for example, one of the things that happens as well when I work on people is that I will see events maybe that are happening to them. I will literally feel whatever they're feeling, whether it's physically, emotionally, you know, I will think the thoughts that they're thinking mentally. And I used to think that it was me thinking them. And, you know, over time have realized that it's actually when someone else is thinking it. And I've learned that by saying to someone, this is what's happening right now. And and they will usually say to me, yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And so I used to have this perception that it was me thinking it or me feeling it. And I've come to realize that actually it's just that is funneling through me. And it helps actually to give me an understanding of kind of what's happening, right? What's happening inside of them. And another thing that happens to me is that I will actually see like experiences that someone has gone through. But when I try to grasp it with my thinking mind, I can't quite understand. It's like I have to interpret it with my soul, I guess, right? It's like I have to interpret it in a different way. And so that is like another spiritual gift, I guess, that I have. And the other thing is that I believe that we all have these, right? It's just that they maybe manifest themselves in different ways. So one of the ways that I believe that I'm here to like help the world, this is the reason why I'm here. This is the reason why I've been through so many hard things in my life, that I feel like it's been just like one thing after another that has been this hurt so much, is because I have this gift that is meant to be shared with the world. And I believe that, you know, we have to do our own work. And that doesn't mean that like I'm healed or that any of us are healed. And we don't have to be fully healed to be out, you know, helping other people. So anyways, that's like a completely another topic. But I also believe that all of us have the gift of being a magician in our lives, right? Basically like that we can manifest things. And so, you know, I think that that is a gift that all of us hold as well. It's just like whether or not we're tapping into it. And so there have been a lot of ways that has become apparent to me in my life. Like I will just like think about something that I want and then it'll be there. And the more I think that we like clear the path of things that are standing between us and our soul and our higher power, the more that those things just like are able to come through, right? The problem is that we, or at least for me, and I know that this is the case for most people, that again, we have like all this trauma and all these things that happen in our lives, and we tell ourselves these stories like how we're not worthy of something. I actually just am sitting here thinking about and looking at this vision board that I made that is hanging up on my wall. And, a vision board is something that I really love to do. I love that we get to be the magician in our lives. And that doesn't mean that like I choose everything that's happening in my life. That's not what that means. And I might go down a little rabbit hole here for a second, but I'm not sure. So that's not what that means. What it means to me really is that already this life has been laid out in front of me, right? And I have this higher self that knows like what the best path is for me. And when I get like really excited about something, or I have this like honest desire for something, and I'm not talking like a desire that's like, like when I used to want to use drugs, but like this like excitement, this pull towards something, that I believe that it's meant for me, and that I decide that it's something that I want in my life, and I put that out into the universe, and usually things come up that stand between me and that, right? Like, for example, one of the things that I have been manifesting is a relationship. Like, I want to have a relationship in my life where, and I'm talking like a partner, a romantic partner, because I have been through a lot of, I've been through some good relationships and some that have been awful, right? That have shown me what it is that I want. So, I have been, I just recently finally decided to give in to the fact that I really want love in my life. I had been pushing it out and like, refusing to even believe that I wanted it. And I had this vision board, and I had made a section for my love life, and I left it completely blank. Well, it was like one day I realized that my love life was completely empty because I had manifested that. So I decided to think about what I really want in love. And I want a partner who doesn't need me. I want a partner who wants to be with me but doesn't need me. I want a partner who loves and respects me. I want a connection with someone that is like mental, physical, spiritual, all at the same time. So what happens, I believe, like for me, because I am this magician, right? And I'm manifesting these things in my life that like I say, I want this in a relationship. And then these things come in and say, this is standing between you and that. You can't have a relationship where you're not needed if you're still stuck in a vibration of needing someone to need you. And this is actually like, I'm being a little bit vulnerable right now. This is actually something that has been coming up for me, where like, I have realized that I actually, I have always turned to relationships where I'm needed. And like, to me, that's what love is, to be needed. And there are a lot of reasons for that, but I can't bring in a relationship. I'm not on the vibrational level of meeting up with a person who doesn't need me and being in that relationship if I need them to need me, if that makes any sense. And so I believe that that is another gift that I have, right? Is being able to manifest things. So that was kind of a little sidetrack there. But the other thing is that like I said before, I think it's really important to be open to the way in which you listen to your gift. So one of the things that happens for me now, again, is that information is channeled through me. And that's actually why I've started making these videos. So it started happening to me again about 1.5 years ago. And I didn't know what to do with it. It felt so overwhelming. And it was like, when it would happen, I would just be like manic. I'd be like scribbling all this stuff down, and I didn't know who to share it with or what to do with it. And it felt like so much for me. I actually called a friend finally one day, and I was crying, and I told her, I don't know what to do. I feel so alone. I feel I have all these like downloads coming in, and I'm afraid, number one, it makes me weird. because that's one of the fears that I have. I am afraid I don't know who to share it with or what to do with it. And that's no longer the truth, because actually, like, I'm supposed to be making videos. I'm supposed to be sharing it with other people in my life. And I feel like I've kind of come up against some little roadblocks of these old beliefs that, like, that if I do that, people are going to think I know everything. If I do that, people are going to assume that I'm just like some egotistical person. And it's like, it's been a really interesting battle in my mind to overcome those constructs and those self-defeating beliefs that I've had. Because the truth is that every single one of us is so connected that we could be channeling that information. And if I can look at somebody else in the world and say, wow, it's really amazing that they channel that information and they can share it with the world, but then look at myself and think that I think that isn't good. It isn't good, and it makes me a know-it-all or whatever it might be. And so I've come up against a lot of blocks internally as far as that goes. But that is another gift that I have. And it, again, I like the idea so much of like getting to know your gifts, because when it first started happening to me again, I started to remember about how it used to happen when I was a kid, and I didn't know what to do with it then either, right? And I felt like in a panic. And so this was happening and I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't know who to tell or who to talk to. And I was just like super afraid, and I didn't know what it meant. And it's like, as I've just decided to let go of those other things and to just allow it to flow through me, as I've started to kind of share it with people, it has been like really just like confirming that that's what I need to be doing. And I think that is a beautiful thing. I think that it's really beautiful to finally realize that, like, what I have, these gifts that I have, are something I'm supposed to be sharing with the world. Like, it is important, and I should be doing it. And so I guess I'm just kind of trying to relay this message to anyone who's listening to this video, that like, you have these very special gifts inside of you. And that probably if you look back over your life, you can see, you know, times in your life that maybe like you felt that gift, you experienced it, and it was shut down, or you brushed it off, or whatever the case may be. But like, to know that it's actually something really important that you have to bring to this world. And to know that it doesn't make you, it doesn't make anything wrong with you to like tap into that and to share it with the world. It almost seems crazy to me now that I've been letting go of that belief. It seems absolutely crazy to me that I would ever believe that something that is given to me by the Creator, that flows through me in such a way that's like so powerful, could be bad to share. And so I really hope that people can take that from this video. And there are so many ways, I think, to really like tap into what your gifts are. The most important things that have worked for me are doing the internal work to really get to know myself, to know like the self-defeating beliefs and thoughts that I have, listening to my intuition, doing meditation has been like essential for me. And honestly, making these videos is even essential for me. It's like, as I'm sitting here and I'm talking, I'm in this flow state that is like reinforcing every moment, and like building those gifts, these gifts that I have. The more that I use them, the more that they grow. And so I'm just really grateful to get to share this with you. I hope that you are able to, you know, find ways to really look inside of yourself and to allow yourself to experience your gifts. I think it's really important to have like a community of people, to find like-minded people. I started doing this meditation of like, just knowing that people who were meant to come into my life to share this path with me would come. And it's happened. And I think it's important to have a community where you can share the gifts that you have. And just like, it's like, I just envision like every time that we tap into it just a little bit, a little tap into it, and we share it, and it's received and acknowledged, and we learn that it's true, and that we can listen to that, and that it's for a reason. The more that it grows, like the more that our belief in ourself grows. The other thing that I want to say really quick, this video is getting a little bit long, but I feel like this is really important. I'm going to make a whole nother video on it, I think, but is that I feel like it's also really common to feel afraid of your gifts. And, you know, I love to think about, I love to like look back and also feel the same way, like to feel like it's absolutely crazy thinking to be so terrified of this. But that used to be the case for me. When my gifts were like there, I just had all this resistance and fear. And it's really common to be afraid of your gifts. It is like, it's almost like a terrifying space to sit in, to see how light we are, to see our own light. It's scary to share our light with the world. And that's really strange, because it is beautiful. It is like, you know, I just, I'm not really sure what the words are that I'm looking for, but I think it's incredible when we finally allow ourselves to share it with the world, and to acknowledge that we are light, that like, we have these gifts, that we are a part of something bigger, that we can help people. And so also, like, I just kind of want to give a couple of examples quick about other people that I know who have gifts. And it's like such a variety of things, right? I have one friend who has this amazing gift of like sitting with someone and listening to their story and turning it into music that transmutes what's happening inside of them. That is like an unbelievable gift, right? I also know someone who, you know, can like communicate with people who have passed away. Literally even just like ask them questions and get the answers, right? For someone maybe who's on this side of the veil, who wants to talk to somebody who's passed away. I know, you know, someone whose gift is to teach people yoga. And it's like, you know, to watch her like move into that flow state where it's like so obvious that it's like this spiritual connection. And it helps other people connect with their spirit when they do yoga with her. It's incredible. You know, all of those kinds of things. Like, I believe that like being creative, even like people who are artists and musicians, are those gifts that are like that flowing energy of like, of connection, right? It's the same as people who are empaths. It's the same as people who are healers. And like, there's like just such a wide range of ways that you could have a spiritual gift. And so, those are just like a couple of the ways, and I might actually, you know, make a video about that someday. I don't know, like all the different kinds of ones, but I just kind of want to give you guys a couple of ideas, and you know, you can, I really believe that actually probably just even watching this video, you already know what those things are for you. And again, it's about just like tapping into it a little bit. And every time that you can do that, it allows that to grow inside of you. So anyways, I'm so grateful that all of you guys made it today. And this video turned out a little bit long, but I just hope that this has helped. So thanks for listening.